Live from the capital, this is BTV News at 9 o'clock. I am Khomotso Mapane. Let's take a look at the headlines. UN expert calls for reforms to advance the needs of Botswana. Botswana intensifies efforts to phase out the use of harmful refrigerant gases.
And in sport, Litsile Tebogo advances to the 200-meter semi-finals.
Liza Oseken joins us a little bit later on with sport and in sign languages. Topotaposa, good evening. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Indigenous People, who recently concluded a 12-day fact-finding mission to Botswana, Dr. Albert Barume, has called for reforms to address the marginalization of the Basarwa in Botswana. When addressing the media, Dr. Barume outlined Basarwa's deep concerns over land rights, cultural survival, and equal participation in national matters. With more.
Barume reported that many indigenous people, amongst them Basarwa, feel ridiculed and displaced, saying that customary land rights are neither acknowledged nor protected. Noting families have been forced from ancestral territories into settlements that are culturally foreign. The mission also uncovered widespread frustration over the absence of indigenous representation in parliament, local government, and traditional leadership structures.
He said just one thing. He said, Mr. Barume, I'm asking you just one thing. Please ask the government to give back San people dignity. They want to be recognized because they feel they're part of the state, but they don't enjoy most of what goes on. They would like, preferably, constitutional recognition, legal recognition.
Barume warned that languages and culture tied to indigenous people are under threat, urging targeted government programs to revitalize them. Education gaps are said to be stuck, traveling far for school or living in hostels where they face scarce resources and, in some cases, sexual exploitation.
The right to culture and languages was absolutely highlighted for self-explanatory reasons that you can imagine. And then the right to education. We had a count of kids as young as 5 being left alone. We have count of girls, young girls, being left alone and being taken advantage of by the neighbors, surrounding communities.
The report further highlighted chronic poverty and exclusion from public services, restrictions on traditional livelihoods like hunting and gathering, and exploitation of those working on farms. Extractive industries and land-based energy projects, he added, continued to proceed without adequate safeguards.
I did discuss with the government on the importance to develop a national standard on a free, properly informed consent, which doesn't exist in this country. It's specific mechanism devised for indigenous peoples, enable indigenous people to have an equal share, including in the benefit sharing of different projects.
The report will be shared with the government to respond, after which a full detailed one offering detailed recommendations will be presented to the UN Human Rights Council in 2026.
The Ministry of Youth and Gender Affairs, in collaboration with CUSUD Botswana Fellowship Program, gathered leaders from various industries to empower emerging change makers with skills to develop decision-making abilities, navigate challenges, and guide them to build confidence needed to run businesses that are globally competitive. The aim is to ensure that young change makers across the public and private sectors have the necessary skills to drive transformative ideas that can help accelerate implementation of projects and also attract investment to Botswana.
The collaboration between the Ministry of Youth and Gender Affairs and C-Suite Fellowship Program's main aim is to strengthen youth leadership skills that can empower them to create employment opportunities for their peers. The other purpose is to teach young leaders the importance of committing to national transformation programs and contributing their skills towards Vision 2036.
One shouldn't look into the short term. We must now plan long term, 50 100 years from now.
We are seeing a total decline to almost a non-existent of indigenous participation in the mainstream economy. It's factual. We can't run away from that. That's a fact, and we need to acknowledge that. The cry here is that government is standing on the way, factual, but it is our reality. We have to accept it, not to say it's the right reality.
This new generation of bold and big-time dreamers like him, like Boamahulu and many others, are beginning to say to the government, to Botswana, to the older generations, we are global citizens. We can make it. We will create wealth for this country.
Nurturing the next generation of leaders will position Botswana on the global map.
I want to say that legacy building in international relations means transforming access into influence. It means that when we build leaders at home, we also create pathways for them to stand tall abroad.
Industry experts emphasize the need for youth leaders to learn financial literacy that can assist to build generational wealth through investments to secure the future of the next generation. Ke o lebohela Redi Potsani, BTV News, Gaborone.
The Minister of Local Government and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Ketlhalefile Motshekga, has called on the Northwest District Council to explore innovative strategies to reduce dependence on central government funding. Motshekga was speaking during a full council session in Maun, where he called for alternative funding mechanisms as Maun prepares to elevate to a city. Marangane Samakata with the details.
Motshekga says collaborating with stakeholders such as the Botswana Stock Exchange are a key step towards the attainment of the green city status that Maun aspires to be.
The intention of the government is to roll out this initiative to other local authorities across the country to tap into the opportunity and raise capital to enhance their own financial independence to carry out development within their jurisdictions through innovative and sustainable funding.
The Botswana Stock Exchange pledged its support to the council and outlined different models of investing in money markets that are available within the stock market.
Our job is really to be technical partners. We are merely here to suggest options that will be eventually the decision of the various councils to choose whichever option works for them, and we will walk the journey with them technically to support them with whichever option they've selected.
Councillors acknowledged the suggestion, calling for further engagement and deeper understanding of bonds and associated risks. I agree with the proposal. It has great potential to bring revenue. We need to collaborate with the Botswana Stock Exchange so that they guide us through the process of trading. This will give us autonomy as a council. This will make it easier for us. After registering the company, we will be in touch and move forward in that regard. I do not think anyone will oppose this suggestion, given how elated Gaborone City got after signing the Memorandum of Understanding, and we hope for the same. The Botswana Stock Exchange has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Gaborone City Council and hopes to do so with other councils across the country. Maranyane Samakata, BTV News, Maun.
Residents of Gaborone South constituency have urged the area member of parliament to speed up alternative solutions to address issues relating to unemployment and infrastructure development in the area. The affected residents from Babusi Ward, Buntleng Ward and White City demanded answers from the area member of parliament, Mr. Nelson Ramaotwana, during a Khotla meeting in Buntleng. Mpho Kileboge compiled the report.
Despite the current economic challenges, the residents have demanded answers on alternative remedies on government commitment to service delivery. The residents of Gaborone South have appealed for implementation of projects geared toward uplifting the livelihood of communities and driving national development.
mo kgaolong ya Gaborone South ka re ke kgaolo ke tsankere ena ba tshaba stata mme le tlhokola ditiro le dintsi
re kopa gore le tsenya leina la White City mo le lemeng la lona e ne re ha di buang tse le lona le itse gore go na le batho ba White City
re le kgaolo ya Gaborone South re tsere tshwetso ya gone gore madi a rona re tlholang ra dirisa ditirelo tsa CCP kana a re a bitsang a constituency fund gongwe ngwaga o tlang kana ngwaga wa madi wa ngwaga o lotlang wa 2025 ga rena go bona rena ditlhabolo tse re di eletsang jaaka ne re di eletsa ka gore sephatlo sa madi re setse re go re go thusa go bokamoso go thusa go bokamoso gore re hime seemo sa di shift
ba itsana pe ba itshulelo ba supa gore ngwaga o hela kana o tang siemo se tabe se hetogile botoka go na le gompieko mme go ne mo go tlogala go rae go ra gore bao ba re ba neetse ditshulegelo ba tshwana bagodi ba rona gore ne re ba suleditse mo 1.8 be re ka le ba le bone ba ileng gore ke bana ba dikolo tse dikgolwane ba re ba suleditse ma 2.5 le bone re ka bona gore nya mme seemo se tsogile yaanong re ka leka go ba koronya ke gore ke ra gore yaanong re nna me re itshokile ke seemo se se hitang sa nakwana.
The member of parliament has assured a resident in his constituency of government position to diversify the economy and unlock investment opportunities around the country.
Re neetswe le hatsi la 176 hectares ko Tamonka me re neelwa ke ba ministry wa ga Tona Winter Molutsi wa tourism ke ba body ya Botswana Tourism Organization gore go ra gore ya nong go ye go dirwa lehilo la ituso bodutu le bojanala gore ka go dira yalo go ra gore ba go ba taba investor go tabe go tsa ditiro mo kgaolong ya rona.
The Khotla meeting was part of member of parliament for the area to update his constituents on the economic transformation programs and development priorities for residents of Gaborone South. Mpho Kileboge, Botswana Television, Gaborone.
Botswana has intensified efforts to fulfill the obligations of the Montreal Protocol, mandating developing countries to phase out the use of harmful refrigerant gases in refrigeration and air conditioning by 2030. The country's commitment was highlighted during the World Ozone Day commemoration on Tuesday in Gaborone. According to the principal meteorologist at the Department of Meteorology, Mr. Udisitse Utseni, Botswana is actively collaborating with stakeholders and international agencies to ensure a smooth transition to alternatives. In
1987, Botswana acceded to the Montreal Protocol, which is an international treaty that regulates the production and consumption of ozone-depleting gases. The country has since established a licensing system that regulates the import and export of ozone-depleting substances.
A protocol was amended several times. First in 1990 in London, where it added additional substances to the list and established a multilateral fund. When we are talking to the national response. Then in 92 there was the Copenhagen Amendment, which added yet more substances to this list. In particular, and more interestingly, HBFCs and HCFCs, plus methyl bromide.
Our collective efforts, no matter how small, will contribute to us protecting the ozone layer. If we don't protect the ozone layer, the impacts are unfortunately not selective. The sunstrokes, the heat strokes, the floods, the cancers from the UV rays are not selective.
Research shows that the effect of a depleted ozone layer will be catastrophic to human beings. Therefore, they must be at the forefront of protecting it by buying appliances that use eco-friendly gas.
But how can I move region? More siding on the side, at the back, even how bula, there's a sticker. Sticker that says lina like gas ya fridge ya gago. Lina la teleta simula ka R. Like I said, R or R refrigerant. So your fridge will say R600 or R22 or aircon ya koloi how bula go bonneting. Just at the top, there's a name R134A. That's how you know.
The issues of funding needs to be done here when presentation in what that means in terms of funding, what is expected.
All these funding mechanisms. So most of the developing countries, especially Africa, have failed to attract or to access this funding, mainly because they either have not domesticated climate change in their respective countries, or they have not established structures that could attract, or they have not really done assessments to cost the impact of climate change.
According to meteorological services, the ozone layer is expected to eventually recover to a good condition in the next 20 years. BTV News, Gaborone.
And finally, the president of Business Botswana, Mr. Nongwako, says they are encouraged by recent engagements with government that it is willing to work with the private sector to grow the sector. He shared this at the 51st Annual General Meeting of Business Botswana on Tuesday in Gaborone. Solofelo Tombale follows.
Creating an environment for entrepreneurship and the establishment of large-scale businesses in Botswana has been a challenge over the country's lifetime, a challenge that speakers at this year's annual general meeting of Business Botswana say has been exacerbated by the government failing over the past few years to engage the private sector on what policies are needed to support it.
Disappointingly, we are going towards the end of our 6th year without having a deliberate, high-level consultative engagement with the government of Botswana, where we sit behind closed doors and thresh out and contest ideas on how we can help one another in terms of driving this economy.
It's a situation that Business Botswana shared has improved recently.
Over the last 2 weeks, I've been made to understand that we've had at least 7 or 8 sub-HLCC sectorial meetings, and which is definitely a very welcome thing, because in the last 7 months since the new government came into being, there were probably only 1 or 2. But over the last 2 weeks, we have seen that ramping up, and that is good. And I have been reliably informed that there are more engagements that will be happening in the next few weeks.
Plan and utilize me well. And I plan to empower you the highest not expected by anyone. First, not expected by yourselves, not expected by the government, and not expected by the international community. And rise, you must decide and determine, and I will help. We are not in contradiction, government versus private versus government. No, in the medley, it has to be all the players in unity.
While the business community did express concern about the economic slowdown the country is facing, they were buoyed at the opportunities shared in the meeting in mining of other minerals such as copper and in agro-processing and emerging industries. Solofelo Tombale, BTV News, Gaborone.
Leslie Sekeng is standing by to give you sport.
Thank you so much, Komoto. Good evening. We start here. Local sprinter Litsile Tebogo won the 200 meters race at the ongoing World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan, to qualify for the semi-finals. Tebogo, who was in lane 9 of heat 6, clocked a time of 20.18 seconds ahead of Xavi Moajok of the Netherlands, who completed the race in a time of 20.35 seconds, and Towa Uzawa of Japan, who finished third in a time of 20.46 seconds. Meanwhile, in the men's 400-meter hurdles, local athletes Kemorena Tisang and Victor Ntweng have failed to secure a spot in the semi-finals after finishing in 7th and 8th positions, respectively. Now, maintenance of the National Stadium is progressing well following its closure in July this year to give way for preparations for the World Athletics Relays to be held in Gaborone next year. Tsegofatso Badubi has the full report.
Botswana National Sport Commission Communications and Marketing Manager Anderson Lisana says upon closure of the stadium, they engaged a consultant to identify areas within the stadium that need maintenance.
Our phased approach e baakanya yalo the track e leng gore go tabogelwa mo go yone o ta gopola gore re ne re ya ga ka April wa ngwago re ne re baakanyetsa jalo mabelo a rona a Golden Grand Prix.
We are currently maintaining the running track, which was built in April this year when preparing for Botswana Golden Grand Prix. At the time, it was a rainy season, and inspection results have shown that the track has been affected by water. We have since removed the black layer for refurbishment.
All of the black layer re go entsha jaaka mokwalo rona no supa gone gore re baakanyetse gore e te kgone gore e kokomele on the platform e solid e kotase mo bogompiekong e ne supa hela gore e tseneletswe ke metsi ibile ga ya kokomela ka go tlhokagalang ka teng.
Recently, a team of experts from World Athletics visited Gaborone to inspect the stadium and advise on what has to be done for the facility to be ready to host the Gaborone 2026 World Athletics Relays that will be in the country for the first time from May 2nd to 3rd next year.
O ta gopola gore se sengwe se re se dirile mo dikagong tse ke dipone tsa rona re o keditse ka ha ileng gore di bonesa ka teng ka gore ba World Athletics.
We've also improved the lights to increase brightness in the stadium as specified by World Athletics in case the event is hosted at night or if it drives into the evening.
Ka teng gore ba bega dikgang jaaka lona di-camera tsa lona di kgone go bona sente bone batabogi ba kgone go taboga ba lebile sente ba bona sente go le motshegare e le ka lebaka la dipone tsa 2000 lux.
Maintenance work on the stadium is expected to be completed by end of October this year for the stadium to be handed over to the local organizing committee. Tsegofatso Badubi, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
And now switching codes, Constance Kuswane of BDF Table Tennis Club defeated Sibongile 6, also of BDF Table Tennis Club, by 4 sets to love to register her second victory and move up to 3rd spot in the Phoenix Assurance Super League standings. The match was played at Babusi Hall in Gaborone yesterday, and Tsepo Kihimile was there.
Both ladies started the match eyeing a victory as it could help their quest for the title. However, it was Kuswane who prevailed, taking the set by 11-7. Kuswane continued with her impressive play, which proved troublesome for 6 in the second set, which she won 11-4. 6 fought back in the 3rd set, trying to turn the match around, but Kuswane's experience helped her take that set by a narrow 12-10. Kuswane never looked back in the 4th set as she closed out the set, winning it 11-7 to take the match overall by 4 sets to love.
It made me because
I am very happy because I didn't start well on Saturday. I worked on my mistakes and it shows that there is progress. She is my teammate. I knew her strengths and weaknesses, so I made sure that I don't play to her strengths in order to win.
Like strengths for her. So we can get some strategy. It was actually a bad start. So yeah, I know where to go and fix. Firstly, I had a diverted mind. Secondly, I just had this thing that we do train together. We're from the same club, so probably she knows my weaknesses and she was working on them. And I wasn't really attacking, but I'm an attacker. I'm an defensive players.
In the men's category, Sirito Samuel of BDF Table Tennis Club beat Moaturi Bakwadi of Pakalan Table Tennis 4-2, while on the women's side, Sipsi Rabaten of Nghabe Table Tennis Club walloped Solfel Haukalamil of Smash Next Table Tennis Club 4-1. Tsebo Gihimile, PTV Sport, Gaborone.
And finally, the national table tennis team left for Luanda, Angola, where they will participate in the Angola 50th anniversary celebrations. Speaking at Sesretsakama International Airport before their departure, the team's vice president technical Kabo Mosare says they are in good shape and ready to bring results home. Horata Moyeng reports.
The table tennis is represented by two players, Tireleto Samuel and Tshepiso Rabatene. Mosare explained that the tournament comes at the right time as they are currently competing in the Phoenix Assurance Super League, which has helped the players remain in good shape and better prepared for competition.
So far we are running the Phoenix Assurance Insurance Super League. Every Wednesday and Saturdays, the league is running. So challenge almost every weekend. So my players are fit.
Musara emphasized that such international competitions are important because they give athletes exposure and recognition in other countries.
We are targeting the position 1, so we are coming back with that. Exposure because Africa
Players stated that despite challenges, including balancing sport with making a living, they have strong belief that they will perform well. We are ready because currently we are playing on a league. We have tournaments, so we use them as a way of practicing.
We are fit.
We are going to bring our A game. We expect to bring good results. Our main challenge is to balance training with our side hustle.
The hustle is on the training, so those are the challenges.
Angola 50th Independence Celebration Tournament will be attended by several countries, including Namibia and South Africa, and featuring various sporting codes. The team is expected back home on Monday next week. Horata Moyembe, TV Sport, Gaborone.
And that's it for sport this evening. Komozo is standing by to give us a reminder of our top stories.
UN expert calls for reforms to advance the needs of Botswana. Botswana intensifies efforts to phase out the use of harmful refrigerant gases.
And in sport, Litsile Teboho advances to the 200 meters semi-finals.
That's how we come to the end of our news bulletin this evening. As also again in sport, in sign language, was Taposa. Next is the weather. Good evening.
Good evening and welcome to today's weather forecast brought to you by Mpho Ishadar. Let's start off by looking at the current satellite picture, which shows that currently there are no clouds over most parts of the country. For tomorrow, partly cloudy conditions are expected over southern central district and over northern central, Chobe, Ngamiland and Khanzi district. Fine to partly cloudy conditions are expected. For southern Kalahari and northeast district, just a few clouds are expected to be visible. And over northern Kalahari into southern southeast Gauteng and Kwenin district, clear skies are expected. Cold temperatures are expected in the morning over much of the southern parts of the country, with minimums expected to reach 7 degrees Celsius over much of southern Kalahari to 10 degrees Celsius expected over Gaborone and Olifantsrift. For northern Khanzi, Kwening and southern central district, mild temperatures are expected of 12 degrees Celsius over Khanzi and Lepepe to 15 degrees Celsius over Silebepikwe and Plajan. And over the northern parts of the country, warm temperatures are expected of 16 degrees Celsius over much of Ngamiland and Chobe district to 18 degrees Celsius over Letlhakane and Maiting. And for the maximum temperatures, very hot temperatures are expected over Ngamiland, Chobe and northern central district of 36 degrees Celsius over Letlhakane to 38 degrees Celsius over much of Ngamiland and Chobe district. For Khansi and northern Kalahari district, hot temperatures are expected of 34 degrees Celsius over Tshwane to 35 degrees Celsius over much of those areas. And over the southern parts of the country into the southeastern parts of the country, warm temperatures are expected of 29 degrees Celsius over Veda to 32 degrees Celsius over much of southern Kalahari district. Now, looking at the fire report, this red color shows some of the wildfires which are currently burning, and the public is advised to handle fire with caution. Now, looking at the weather report for the African cities, partly cloudy conditions are expected over Luanda and Windhoek, with a maximum temperature of 31 degrees Celsius expected over Windhoek. For Cape Town, Gqeberha and Antananarivo, just a few clouds are expected. The maximum temperature of 17 degrees Celsius expected over Cape Town and 28 degrees Celsius expected over Antananarivo. Partly cloudy conditions are expected over Dar es Salaam and Nairobi, with possibility of showers over Dar es Salaam and a maximum temperature of 30 degrees Celsius over Nairobi. Still on African cities, partly cloudy conditions are expected with possibility of showers over Monrovia and Addis Ababa, with a maximum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius expected over Monrovia. And over Rabat, N'Djamena and Tripoli, just a few clouds are expected. The maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius expected over Rabat and 35 degrees Celsius expected over N'Djamena. For Cairo and Khartoum, just a few clouds are also expected. The maximum temperature of 41 degrees Celsius expected over Khartoum. Well, that's all I had for you tonight. Have yourself a good night.
go tshela le batho ba dipuo tse dingwe le dipuo tsa ona ga se seo se se tlhabisang ditlhong bo ngwana ke batle ba tse gore ke a tsene a ka nagang ka lo raya ka re ke lo fela tlase ka lo bone ke ya ngakeng ya Setswana ba go mpola